And some people don't know what their instinct is because they didn't ever have it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not bad, but
Okay.
it is a process of learning to listen to that feeling and then having the feeling again and say, oh, there's that feeling again. I wonder what that means. And then waiting and seeing how it unfolds and say, oh, that's what that meant. It's a process and it's not overnight. And I think that especially in this country, and I know there's other countries of the world that this happens, you aren't taught to trust your gut, your instinct, your knowing.
Welcome to the That's Where I'm At podcast. I'm Laura, happily divorced after spending years with a narcissist. I believe keeping secrets will make you sick and that they always come to light in the end. As women, we're often told to be quiet, don't share your story, don't talk about the things we go through. It's making women sick, sad, and suicidal. We don't have to be on the other side to share our story. This show is for the women still in the middle of the mess, but showing up bravely as they heal. It's time to share these stories with each other so we can learn, grow, and heal together. I'm Laura, and that's where I'm at. Hey, it's Laura. If while you're listening today, something hits a little too close to home, if you find yourself thinking, how does she know exactly what I've been through? It's because I've lived it too. I want to remind you that I offer one-on-one coaching for women who are ready to stop questioning their worth, heal from the mind games, and start reclaiming a life they actually want to wake up to. Check the link in the show notes to book a call today. Now here's the episode. Please take note that this episode may contain subjects that may be triggering to certain listeners. Please take care when listening today. Hi, guys, and welcome back to the That's Where I'm At podcast. Today I have Lisa. Lisa is a dating and relationship coach who empowers men and women to thrive in relationships. She mentors people to connect at a higher level with themselves and with others. And man, this is needed. Lisa, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Wow. So yes, what you do, whoa, that sounds like we really need that. Connecting with each other. Connecting with ourselves at a higher level. Oh my gosh, how did you get into doing something like that?
It was a life journey, actually, because of my past relationships and my upbringing in a severely unconscious family.
And what does that mean, unconscious? Tell me about that.
A family that's just running off of what they were conditioned to do by their family and not understanding that it was severely toxic and abusive. And they were just doing what they do, which their family did. And so that led me into a toxic relationship, a very abusive one. So as I started to heal from that toxic, abusive relationship, I become more and more conscious. And the more conscious I become, the more I wanted to. And it just was a snowball effect, actually.
Yeah. What does that look like? And what did that start to look like for you? What did I guess with unconscious, and you were saying like abusive and toxic, and I feel like so many of us can relate to that. We may have had that in the past. What did that look like for you in contrast to what it started to feel like with you being now conscious?
Well, it feels like a whole different universe actually now than it did then.
Yeah.
But growing up, I was taught, like most young girls were in the early 60s, to be sweet and nice and kind and pretty and agreeable. It was so oppressive, right? And I was just taught women's roles. And I never was able to speak up for myself. I wasn't taught to have boundaries. And when the man at church put his hand up my dress, my mother said, that's just what old men do, honey. Oh. So it was just her saying what she was told.
Right.
And her passing it on to me and me not understanding a thing about what a boundary is. And then I was also taught that speaking up didn't help. What's the point?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we are so conditioned in many ways, right? Especially if we're coming from a toxic family. Who knows? Maybe that happened to your mother as well with the...
Oh, it did. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so maybe she felt the same way you did, that it didn't matter if you spoke up because that's just what old men do or whatever it is that she said, right? Well, that's just the way life is. And I'm so sorry. That's just heartbreaking. But I know that this is going to resonate with people because I know I felt that way before, where it's like, well, what does it matter what I say? It doesn't feel like anyone's listening and nothing's changing.
Exactly. I
That's
didn't have a voice.
That's kind of heartbreaking. And so tell me a little bit about, so you felt like your toxic family felt kind of normal when you started going towards toxic relationships. So tell me a little bit about that and how, where you found yourself.
Well, hindsight is I saw the red flags with the guy I ended up marrying, but I didn't know what to do with them.
Right.
Because I was raised extremely religious. You don't back out of a wedding, and moments before I was walking down the aisle, I was sobbing. And I didn't know why I was sobbing, so I didn't know what to do with the sobbing.
Right. Especially if you're not having conversations in your family, right? There's no.
Or myself. I didn't have a clue what was going on with me.
Right. But I feel like if we're not taught that, like to look at our emotions, right? Why am I sobbing? Why am I triggered? Why am I having this reaction, to even be able to look at it? Not just, oh, you have cold feet. Okay, but I understand that, but what does that mean?
Sure.
You're
Well,
sobbing.
that's what consciousness is. Consciousness is being aware of all aspects of our life and our being and having conversations with ourselves.
Right.
And that's what being conscious was. And because I wasn't conscious at the time, I didn't know why I was sobbing. So I went ahead and went down the aisle.
And so did it ever come to you? Like, did you ever start to figure out, or did that take years before you could look back and go,
oh, I knew within 3 hours after I got married.
Oh.
I called my mother and said, I can't do this. And she said, honey, you're already married. There's nothing I can do. It was the religious aspect of it.
Right.
Said, you'll be okay. So, yeah.
And that she was probably coming from that part in her life as well, right? Her experience to say, well, there's just nothing we can do, and that's just the way it is. You're going to be fine.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
But, the religious part was you can't go back.
Right.
So then I didn't have anyone else to talk to. I just did what I did, which was be the wife.
And so how long did you stay in that marriage, and what kinds of things? You don't need to get into all the gory details, but how long did you stay, and what kinds of things happened that have then propelled you forward?
Well, there are some gory details that did propel me forward, unfortunately.
Well, go ahead. You are more than welcome to talk. We talk about all the gory details on here. I just wanted to offer that if you don't want to share them, you don't have to.
Okay. So I was married for 10 years. Yeah. And during that time, I had left, went back, unfortunately. But he started hitting me around 5 years.
Interesting. Was it psychological abuse before that, or because why did you understand within 3 hours that you had made a mistake? Was it psychological abuse before he started hitting you?
Well, I've always been a highly sensitive person, so I think it was that strong intuition hitting me hard. I just made a big mistake.
Okay.
So, but since I was always been intuitive, and I knew that, but I didn't know what else to do. So, but yeah, he hit me the first time physically. He had thrown things before that, but physically hit me the first time around 5 years. And yeah, so when you're raised with a rageaholic father who punched holes in the walls and tore things up and smashed cars because he was angry, there's some aspect of your brain that doesn't recognize that you're unsafe.
Right.
Because of the religious aspect and the conditioning that what men do is what men do.
Yeah.
I didn't leave until later on. But there was alcohol and drug abuse that got worse over the years. And then choking and other things happened that were leading me up to leave. Because I realized that he wasn't going to go get help for his alcohol and drug issues.
I know you said you went back and you said unfortunately, but the average is women try 7 times before they leave. And while I didn't physically walk out the door and then go back, in my mind, I had left a dozen times. And so there's no shame in that, because that's just part of the story. And there's a reason why when people say from the outside, why didn't you leave? Well, there's a host of reasons why people don't leave.
Yes, I agree. There's a lot of nuances to that. Domestic violence is something that's very misunderstood. Women that are being hit and abused mentally, physically, emotionally know that they're not safe. And I trust that if they don't leave, they know that it's not safe to leave. And so it's easy to say, why didn't you just leave? Because that comes from a place of privilege. And that's not a privilege that a woman in domestic violence has.
Right.
So there was a multiple reasons why I didn't leave.
Yeah.
When I did get up the courage to do so, and when I'm done, I'm done. There was absolutely no chance that I was going to ever go back. He stalked me for 6 years, and I didn't know that. I mean, not 6 years. I apologize. It's 6 months.
Wow.
And I didn't know that. So when I dated a guy after 6 months of being legally separated, he broke into the house while I was asleep and beat me brutally.
Oh my gosh.
That was the pivoting point in my life where I hit absolute bottom. There was absolutely nothing left of me.
Yeah. And that's when you said it was the bottom and there was nothing left of you. What did that mean for you mentally?
Oh, I couldn't even get up off the floor. And I had a young daughter. I couldn't take care of myself. I couldn't brush my teeth. I had extreme head trauma from being hit brutally, and I had PTSD. So I couldn't even get up to brush my teeth. So there was just nothing there except a shell of me. So I called for help. And so that was a process. But I don't know how, but 3 months later, I just walking around in some altered state of numbness and not feeling anything and being aware of anything. Some part of me, the fighter in me, came up and said, I'm not going to let this define me, and I will overcome it. I just didn't know how long it was going to take, but I made that commitment to myself in that moment.
I love that. Let's get real. Gaslighting isn't just a buzzword. It's that sick, spiraling feeling in your gut when they say, that's not what I said. You always twist things, or you're too sensitive. I was just joking. Yeah, I can totally relate. I spent 33 years with someone who made me feel like I was the problem every time, no matter what. That's why I wrote, You're Not Crazy, Reclaiming Your Sanity and Self-Worth After Narcissistic Abuse. Because you deserve to trust your gut again. You deserve to trust you. And spoiler alert, you were never the problem. Gaslighting is the main tactic of a narcissist. This book won't fix your ex, but it will help you fix your peace. Just check out the link in the show notes to get your copy today. Don't wait to start your healing. Because I was going to ask if, when we're walking around in that numbness, because I can relate to that, that's just a survival mode, right? And hope whoever's listening, if you're feeling like you're in that, it's just survival mode. There's no shame in that. Your body, your brain is trying to protect you from what you experienced, and really so that you're not really walking around, I guess, in shock, realizing what truly has happened to you.
Sometimes the emotions are more than what our bodies and brain and nervous system can take, and we become numb because that's the only way we can survive.
Yeah.
So it's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely no shame in it. It's a natural state when you've gone through something like that.
Yeah. It's just, it's horrible. And I'm sorry that you went through that. And then you said you didn't realize how long it was going to take. So how long did what take? Tell me.
My healing journey has been ongoing for 30 years. So I didn't know how much was going to be involved in unraveling the onion layers of ending up in toxic relationships, getting out and learning more about myself.
Yeah.
And then growing from that, ending up in another one, and then growing from that. Yeah. And there was a lot of conditioning that I wasn't aware of when I started the journey that was given to me from, like I said, generations that I've had to unravel.
Right.
And then my trauma that my mother and father gave me. So it's just been a journey. And the thing that I want to get out to the world is this, don't judge your journey.
Right.
You're doing the best you can.
Yes.
And not something you can put a timeline on.
Right.
And it's not about an end destination. It's about learning to love yourself more every time you unravel something new about yourself. And it's absolutely beautiful because it's a never-ending story.
Yes. I love that so much because we cannot judge our journey against someone else's journey. It takes as long as it takes. And I love that you're talking about loving yourself because that's where I started my journey. Because, man, I walked out of my abusive marriage not even wanting to be alive. And I had spent a few years learning how to love myself and build myself up. But man, I had to really go hard for that because I was in such a low place. And when you've been in abuse, you feel like garbage because that's how you're treated. And so, man, I had to really work on that. That was the biggest thing for me. So when people say, yeah, I don't know what kind of compliments you get, but people will say like, you're glowing, or I can't believe you're doing those things. That's amazing. They don't understand like the work that it took and what they're seeing is me coming back to life. What do you feel like has happened with you?
Absolutely. It's like blood flow.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
My nervous system is calmer and I'm able to handle things more in a regulated state. And that took a lot of work. You realize, oh, I'm dysregulated right now. Why am I dysregulated? It takes extreme consciousness to understand this. You're glowing because you love yourself, because you're connected to yourself, because that's your natural state of being as a whole person.
Yeah.
Of course you're glowing, but no one knows the hard work it took to get there.
Right. And that's the thing. And that's why it's hard to sit here and say, you know, I would just want the listeners to really hear that. It's like, don't judge your journey against anyone else's because you do not know. Like, we're curating our life on social media. And so you see me happy and glowing, but I also do share the times I'm crying and sad, but it could be up, down, and all around in one day because things trigger you. I mean, I've been divorced for a little while, and my son the other day said, what color enchiladas are we having? Red or green? And I said, I actually don't know because your dad always made me pick green. And so you don't even realize the things that keep coming up. But you know what? I was so proud of myself because I was like, I like green. So we're going to have green. You know what I mean? Like it was like a quick thing. I didn't have to have a meltdown because of course the first time other questions were asked of me, I did have meltdowns. I don't know what I like to eat. I don't know. Yeah. These are the things but I love that you said that being aware, right? Being aware. Why am I dysregulated? Do people even know what dysregulated means? Do you even know what it feels like in your body to be dysregulated? And those are the things that we need to be aware of, right? Are you telling people, are you showing people how to be aware of these things, or do you feel like it comes along with healing, or maybe both?
I do. I take them through some steps that I use to help them become a little more in their body, more aware of what's going on with it, more aware of their nervous system as they're an observer and not one being caught up in the experience. And that's what's been so profound for me.
Yeah.
Being able to learn how to step outside of the experience and allow it to happen and not to get so caught up in it that I can't get out of it. So that kind of sometimes feels like a trap, right? When you're so caught up. And so our nervous system is just one aspect of it.
When you're talking about that, they say, don't react, respond, right? So that reaction is when maybe you're dysregulated and you might like fly off the handle or something like that, right? And I feel like when that's an easy little quote to write down, or you might see it on the internet, instead of reacting, respond. But I'm thinking, if you're not regulated, or you don't know how to regulate yourself, or you don't know how to even be aware of why you're overreacting, right? That's what they say, right? You can't do those things, can you? Unless you're really aware of what's happening.
You have to be careful with cliches and idioms and memes. that minimize something profound when it's absolutely not that simple.
Right.
And so it's easy to say, don't react, respond. So what I notice people do is they're constantly trying to talk their brain into doing something when the nervous system and the rest of them doesn't understand. And so you will react when you do.
Yeah.
You do. And you're going to do it before you know it. And that's the way the brain works. And so what you do in my work, I teach people how to catch it each time.
Okay.
You catch it each time and you process it until you get to the point where you can catch it before it happens. But just reading a meme.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you feeling trapped in a relationship that leaves you questioning your worth and sanity? Have you noticed the red flags and decided you can't live one more day in a toxic environment? Whether you've just left or are considering leaving a narcissistic partner, the book, Married to a Nice Guy, Getting Over Narcissistic Abuse is here to guide and support you. In this candid memoir, I share my 33-year struggle in a marriage to a nice guy that was marked by emotional manipulation and abuse, revealing how I broke free and reclaimed my life. If you've been waiting for a sign, this book is it. If you've ever felt isolated, confused, or hopeless in your relationship, Married to a Nice Guy, Getting Over Narcissistic Abuse offers the understanding and guidance you need to break free and start your journey to healing. You are not alone, and you deserve a life filled with love, respect, and happiness. Order your copy today and take the first step towards reclaiming your life. It's not enough, and I know that as I've been doing this healing work, and I've been doing so many different things, I'm like, oh, well, it's easy to write that down. Somebody had posted something the other day, and I don't even remember what it was, but it makes me think of what you just said. You can't just read this meme. This person had posted this like that, like a meme. There were so many of us in the comments going, it's not this simple. You're off right now. It's not this simple. People were like, you're trivializing this thing. And I usually don't comment on stuff like that because I don't like to stir up the pot that way. But there were so many other people commenting that I was like, yeah, I know that she didn't mean it to be a bad thing. But that was the thing, is that we can't trivialize something that's pretty big to some people. You can't just go, well, you should calm down. Yeah, calm down doesn't calm down doesn't exactly make you calm down.
Has anyone ever calmed down when someone told them to? I've not had
No, absolutely not.
In the healing world, especially in the realm that you and I are in, sometimes coaches do make it sound so simple.
Right.
And what I've noticed is a lot of it comes from privilege because they have privilege that someone else doesn't.
Okay,
and
yes.
Very careful about taking those things and internalizing them and making yourself feel bad or ashamed because that's not the way you're unfolding.
Yes, I love
You
that.
are beautiful the way you are. However you're unfolding, it's amazing.
Yes.
And once you read stuff like that, the more that you're going to notice that you become more connected with yourself. Those things can make people so disconnected. Why am I not unfolding like everybody else?
Right, exactly. And
it's not about doing, it's about being.
Yes.
You're being.
So I want to talk about, you had said women turn themselves off to their knowing. And then also another thing was about trusting in our instincts. And I kind of want to talk about both those things because I think they're very important to talk about as we are giving suggestions or ideas to others. Maybe the underlying theme is trust your instincts, trust your gut. But when you don't, maybe you have a past that was chaotic or toxic, and it's kind of hard to sit there and go, how do we do that? So talk to me a little bit about what that looks like when women are turning themselves off to their knowing, and then how you might start teaching women or even men to trust their instincts.
Yeah. And well, again, be careful about those short phrases because trusting your instinct takes a lot of time.
Right.
And I had it before I got married.
Okay.
Not to go down the aisle, but I didn't know what to do with it. But after that,
I think that's really important to repeat. I really think that's important, that you didn't know what to do with it. You're like, my gut was saying, my instincts were saying something. But then you're like, what do I do with this? What does it even mean? And if we're not taught that, right? So is that part of that, like turning that off, that, or maybe we haven't ever turned it on? That knowing, those instincts that because maybe people goes, trust your instincts. It's like, but you're right. You didn't even know what to do with that.
Well, and some people don't know what their instinct is because they didn't ever have it. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not bad, but it is a process of learning to listen to that feeling and then having the feeling again and say, oh, there's that feeling again. I wonder what that means.
Yeah.
And then waiting and seeing how it unfolds and say, oh, that's what that meant. It's a process and it's not overnight. And I think that especially in this country, and I know there's other countries of the world that this happens, you aren't taught to trust your gut, your instinct, your knowing.
Yeah.
So it absolutely is turned off. And if it's not turned off, it's turned way down.
Right.
And yeah, so, there are times when I'm still learning to trust my gut. And I've been doing this for a long time. It's a process.
Are you looking for, in this process, are you looking for patterns? Like you said, do you recommend someone maybe journaling maybe some of their patterns, or I kind of had that gut feeling and now this kind of happened or whatever? Or do you recommend things like that?
That's one of the processes I take people through.
Oh, okay.
Noticing the feeling, being curious about it, write it down.
Love it.
See what happens. And then noticing if that was the feeling that actually was the thing that you should have listened to. Okay. It is. And I suggest that you write it down because our mind can cloud things up for us sometimes.
Yes.
And when it's written down, then it's there and we can go back and it's it. So it's the same with relationships, the one with ourselves, the one we have with others. It's about being curious about what we're feeling, thinking, and writing it down and noticing the patterns that we have, and then learning to trust that feeling that we had. And you will become trusting of it because you will notice that it's always right.
Yeah. That's so interesting. I love the idea of, I'm a big journaler and I love to just write those kinds of things down, my dreams even. And then as I'm reading, right now I'm writing my book. And so I'm going through my journal and I'm like, oh my gosh, that thing I was thinking of, I sent my friend a screenshot. I had written down something she said to me. And this was like a year and a half ago. And I sent her a screenshot of, took a picture of it and sent it to her. I said, this is what you said to me a year and a half ago. And I wrote it down on instinct because I knew it was like, I need to hold on to this. And then now it's like all coming around, right? So now I can see that I remember thinking what she said to me, which was very encouraging. I'm like, that's the kind of feeling I have in my gut to want to have for my life, to help women and things like that. And that's what she had said to me. And now it's happening. So it may take a minute, some of these things, right? But I feel like it's a good way to learn to trust ourselves and what we're thinking.
I agree. I have Post-it notes. I have notes, journals everywhere. Write it down. Wherever I'm at, I have something that I can write on.
Yes, that's a good idea. I'm starting to do voice clips. I like writing a lot better because there's that mind connection, I think, when you're writing. But yeah, I've been starting to do some voice clips because I need to do that because sometimes my thoughts are much too long for me to write down. So do you have a podcast?
I do. Conscious Insights. It's brand new.
Oh, awesome. Tell me what you're talking about on there.
Yes. It's on Spotify, Conscious Insight.
Okay. Tell me, what are you talking about on there?
It's personal growth and development, love and relationships.
That's amazing. And what are the type of people that are coming to you? Where are they at in their life when they come and they talk to you and they're wanting to work with you?
They're into personal growth. They're very curious about their life. They're into introspection. They read. They're very curious about the world and themselves. But mostly they all have an open mind.
Okay, that's so interesting. And they're just wanting to make a change for the better. Maybe they're not necessarily looking for a change, but they're just kind of curious the way their life is going.
Most of them know that life can be better and they want that.
Yes. That's awesome. That's just amazing. Where can people reach out to you to work with you?
I have a website,
Okay.
consciouslyAwakeCounseling.com. You can find me on Facebook, Lisa Hawkins, Dating Relationship Coach.
I love that. And we'll have everything in the show notes because I just feel like there's going to be somebody listening that's going to resonate with the things you're talking about and all those feelings. It's the theme of the day. The other podcast I did this morning, we had a similar theme. It's the theme of the day, really understanding ourselves, honoring the way we're feeling and honoring, but understanding as well, right? What we're feeling, the things we're going through. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience before we say goodbye today?
So check out my ebook on Amazon.
Awesome.
Yeah, The Awakening by Lisa Hawkins. It's a very short ebook. It talks about conscious relationships. And if someone's curious how to go from being unconscious to conscious, it's a quick little book that's helpful.
That's perfect. We'll have all of that in the show notes so you guys can get some resources and you can work with Lisa. Lisa, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for joining me today on the That's Where I'm At podcast. Did the story today resonate with you? Do you think others would benefit from hearing the stories we are telling? Please go to Apple or Spotify right now to leave a review so everyone in podcast land will know you love the show. We want to continue sharing stories of hope and healing. I'll be back next time. I'll talk to you then.